Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and today I'd like to bring you a guide on the Padapili Sea Cave dungeon. It's also one of those returning launch dungeons we had at the very beginning of the game, so it should be quite easy regardless if you are a day 1 player or a newer player, because the recommended power is between 78 and 151,000. And just to go quickly over the dungeon, the symbol enemies, the bosses, all you need for this dungeon are 2 elements and circle sigil. If you have a good triangle sigil, then you can of course bring it for the specimen. However, you need only fire and ice. Specimen, the only danger he poses is he can inflict your whole team with poison. However, that poison, it doesn't hurt much, so you can easily out-heal it with your healer. But also, Ramu as a summon I would not recommend bringing it because there are multiple bosses who are resistant to lightning, so it's not worth it. But also Specimen doesn't have any elemental weakness, so you have a lot of options how you want to kill this boss. Also, you can reduce its attack and defense if you want. Gallonbaloir, he's weak to fire, but also as you can see, Ramu is not good here. You can also reduce its physical defense, magical defense and attack. Red Dragon is one of those annoying bosses who can inflict poison on your magic DPS, so if you really want, you can bring a Fog Esuna. However, it's not crucial. It's very easy to deal with the fog. It's just a few seconds that affect the ADB. However, he's weak to ice and resistant to fire. But also Queen Baljahgon. And those 2 bombs. By the way, she's the only boss in this dungeon who has those first 2 adds on her. But they're also not very hard to kill. It's just a little bit of inconvenience. All of them are weak to ice, and you can reduce all their physical and magical attack and defense. But also, Queen Baljahgon, she can inflict your physical DPS with fatigue. Again, you can bring the fatigue Esuna, however it's very easy to deal with those effects. However, Assault Scorpion, he can also inflict poison on your team, or at least on one character, it depends how long the battle is. And he's weak to fire and resistant to ice, so that's why you want to bring 2 elements to this battle. But also this time you cannot decrease his defense at all, only attack. And as for the map, you also have quite a lot of options how you want to go with this dungeon, because here you can choose between Sentinel and Queen Baljahgon, and then the whole dungeon opens up what you want to do next. Here's the Gallonbaloir and here's the dragon, so you can go, for example, here, clear all those bosses before going back here. Those first dungeons we had, they always had a lot of options how we want to go and not this one specific route. So it's up to you, and the only chest we have in this dungeon is right here. My team, as you can see, I have also powered down my team a lot. It's only 165, and as I always say, you don't need to use the characters I am using. I just like using those characters and I am unable to switch out. However, for example, if you have a Lucia with Bolt Eagle, she'll be very helpful to you here. There are also other characters like Nanaki, Byred who have fire weapons, so we have a lot of options, depends on the team you want to use yourself. However, like I previously mentioned, the only things you need to bring is fire, ice and the circle sigil. Or on Sephiroth, oh actually I have X sigil so it's not really needed. However, here I pulled on Fire Banner, so it is a little bit easier, and also on your strongest the fire DPS character you want to bring the Hellfire, or if you don't have it, Radiant Plume. On your ice character the stronger DPS character, you want to bring Shiva. If you don't have Diamond Dust, then just bring Whiteout. And again, it's just the Fyra. And Zach is my healer and debuffer. And if you can, bring Ice Breach, and also if you want, you can also bring Fire Breach. Other than that, as you see, all those empty spots, if you don't need them, you can always substitute either with a stat stick to give you more HP or HP to survive more. If not, you can just bring also utilities like those Esunas or other things. So it's up to you how you want to go. However, my Cloud and Sephiroth, they have only 2.2 magical and physical attacks, so it still should be fine. It's more than enough. And also, today most people have a lot more physical and magical attack, but also my Zac is about 1.6 or 7 heal. And here, we don't get those like options a lot, so you can choose between Fire Cocktail or Blizzard Cocktail, it's up to you. Fire Cocktail raises your fire damage, and Ice Cocktail, it just buffs your ice damage. It's up to you, you can use them. You can use all of those cocktails and you still can get rank S+ very easily. And here, most of the battle is just doing the DPS. Sometimes those ice missiles, they can inflict poison, but it's also RNG. I will switch to Cloud because now we have full stance. And yeah, Zac is trying to debuff him, but now finally Zac got debuffed, so I'll switch to defense to cure him. The poison for about 3 months, we ignored it because it was so weak. Only when we got that dungeon and the story chapter with that poison dragon, now it finally, we had to worry about it. But now it's a circle sigil phase, so we can just break it and go back to DPSing. But here I will go back to Zac to heal him and prepare him for the next battle basically, and you just have to finish the boss. Ideally, you've seen he started to charge his laser. You want to kill him before that, because those lasers on those scorpions, they always are inconvenience and they hurt a lot. And here we have 3 trance abilities. This one is for fire, and if we go to the Queen Baljahgon, it will be the same thing but for ice. Plus 15% on fire is a very nice thing, however you lose 30% of your healing potency, so it depends on your healer. If you have a strong healer, you can go for this one. However, just to be safe, I'm going for the plus 5%. And since we're here, I also will go for the Queen Baljahgon because I don't really like her. However, all those bosses are pretty much the same difficulty. None of those is actually easier. I will switch here to Cloud to deal with those bombs just a little bit faster. And of course Sephiroth with his very slow pace. And actually I'll switch to Zac just to cure everyone. We are slowly, but we're getting more and more damage. And here I will inflict Ice Breach. And you can unleash your Whiteout or your Diamond Dust. However, I will not, just to show you in case you can't kill it fast enough. That Leaping Slash, it doesn't really hurt a lot. However, if you manage to get to this point, you see those two icons. The boss is very weak to any attacks right now. And actually, if you want, you can go for the circle sigils. However, you can just go for any ice attack and just inflict a lot of damage here. And actually, I didn't notice, but Zach got a lot of damage. So that was my mistake, that I was a little bit careless and I wasn't looking at his HP at all. However, here, like I said, here's the ice potency, and it also that's the same case. Choose whatever you wish. If you have a strong team, you can go for the plus 15. I just go for the easiest, the safest one. And I would always recommend try to get as many of those items because they will contribute to your final score. Summon charge is very useful here, also a stand. I would say for summon charge, you can use them and then you have your summons ready for every battle. I will switch to Zach here and let them take care of those bombs because I want to heal Zach. I was careless in the last battle and I didn't notice that he got so much damage here. I don't mind this being a quite slow battle because this, well, almost there. I can almost heal everyone. I know my limit breaks are also ready. However, I will leave them for later. And here, this is the Gallonbaloir and there is the red dragon. However, I think we'll go for the Gallonbaloir first. And here with Zach, I will actually switch to Zach. Yes, you always try to switch to the defensive stance to get a little bit less damage, incoming damage, because that rush is always at the beginning of the battle on the Gallonbaloir. And here I will start debuffing him and let my DPS characters do a little bit more damage. If you have the fire breach, that will be very useful to you here. And I'm switching to defense against that thunderfall. That hurts always a little bit, but just cure it and you'll be fine. If you have your summons, ideally you could just switch to your summon and do the hellfire and you'll be dead very quickly. And another boss done. Here you can choose actually between fire potency and ice potency. Since we have cleared all the fire bosses, I would recommend if you have taken exactly the same route I have taken, I would recommend going for ice potency, because the red dragon is the last boss remaining and he is weak to ice. But also Specimen, he isn't weak to any element, so you can choose if you want to go with each element, because he will get the same damage basically. I will wait. I actually switched to Zag just in case I have to heal. I'll wait for my DPS to do their own damage here. And, well, for some reason Sephiroth doesn't want to attack. So I just switch to them. And right here, it's a lot of circle sigils, so you can choose. If you can kill the dragon fast enough, just go for the DPS, because you can kill him very easily. If not, you have to break those sigils if you do not want to your character to die, just in case. Kira. But you have a lot of time to break those sigils, because I have only 2 characters with 2 circle sigils, and I will still have enough time. And here I will just do Ice Breach, and of course you should do Diamond Dust or Whiteout, and this battle will be very quick. Very, very quickly over. I often switch to Zac or switch to a healer because I want to save the ADB for the next battle. And here you can as well choose Fire Potency or Ice Potency. Since Specimen is immune to, it's not resistant, it's not weak to any elements, you can just choose whatever. One of those potencies, it will still give you a little bit more DPS on your main weapons or materia. And here, Power Jelly, it's for physical attack buff, or Magic Jelly is for magical attack buff. So it's up to you. You can, and actually you should use them if you want. Here's the chest, the rare chest, that you should always grab. And then we'll just go straight for the last chest with the items for the score. And we're pretty much good. And again, it's just those bombs, so I will switch to Cura. And I'll let my DPS characters do their DPS. Against those chilling breaths, you might want to switch to defense because they hurt quite a lot. If they use anything else, you don't have to. But those chilling breaths or just any breath on those elemental bombs, you might want to switch to defense just to lower the damage a little bit. And for the last boss, you might want to unleash your limit breaks as soon as you have them. I will not do that only because I want to show you how the battle looks like in case you do not have enough DPS to instantly finish the boss. But if it's you should immediately after the start of the battle, you can do your limit breaks for that extra big damage. That specimen is very ugly, but in a good way. I think they did a good job with the model. And here I will start actually I did a bad thing. Just in case I will just heal Zac because he's poisoned right now. And right now I recommend just going for the limit breaks because I debuffed his defense a little bit, so he will take a little bit more damage. So it is recommended, if you have a debuffer, always do that before your limit breaks. And in this dungeon it is very recommended to charge your limit breaks and use them as often as you can, because we also have gotten multiple summon charges, so they want you to use those limit breaks. With Zac I'm just healing. They will do the circle sigil, and that's why you don't need to use the triangle sigil. You can just bring this one and it'll be fine. And again, I'm just healing so no one actually dies. Yes, we have gotten 2 new enemies. They are very easy. And here you can switch to them so they kill him. Oh, actually they still went for the boss. Well, however, if the boss is still alive and you know you won't kill him within 10 next seconds, you might want to go for those eyes. Other than that, at this point, 4 months later in the game, and those 20 levels, those notes, and are account progression, those dungeons shouldn't be very hard for long-time players. However, even for the new players, they still should be doable and not actually very hard. So I think my guide was helpful to you, and good luck on your own run, and I guess I see you on the next one.